up, everybody? Once again, this is Greg Cruz, aka G-Bo, ex-gang member out of Skyline, San Diego. For those who don't know, um, who I have here is a very special guest and a good friend of mine, is Jettie Garrett, aka Baby Jet. Now, we have some powerful stories. We've been in the same prison. We grew up in that YA area, the California Youth Authority. And then we hit the prison yards. One of the prison yards was there at the same time. My last stretch, real quick, back in 2007 to 2010, I went from Donovan to CRC to Chuckawalla, and I rode from Chuckawalla. In there, Jettie was in there at the same time I was there, and before I get into his story, I'm just going to share something with some of the youngsters for those that don't know. This is nothing that you want to really follow, okay? As you see, we shared stories that we went from the juvenile hall to the California Youth Authority to prison, and Jettie shared these over 26 years. Those are the years that we can't get back. Okay, those are the years that you don't want to throw away, because when we look back and reflect back, Jettie came from a good family. I came from a good family. We took some wrong turns. We have a lot of similarities. My dad was killed when I was 7 years old, and yeah, I had a stepfather, but I never really respected him, and I was kind of like, I was standoffish, and I did my own thing, and look what happened. So a lot of times, we don't take heed to people that are grown that can help us, that are really there to help us keep our life straight, and you can see how easy it can be to get sucked up into the lifestyle, into the streets, because the streets captured us, and it really captured Jettie at a very young age. When you think about 9 years old, gang banging, I'm gonna keep it 100, man. I was a part-time gang member because I was gang banging and playing sports all the way through high school until I caught my case. My first one I caught, and that was just the weekend gangbang until I, fuck sports, and then I then became full-time gangbanging, and in the heartbeat, it became I'm gone for 5 years. That's how quick it can turn around. So for those kids, man, stay in school, figure out what you want to do, and go for it. Don't get caught up in this limelight and this big old, look at the guy with the fancy car and the big rims and a nice girl and he's a dope dealer. You don't have to be a dope dealer to get that. You can work for it, and it just takes a little longer to get it. So, Jettie, I want you to share, if you can, your last stunt in prison, and when did that light come on for you, like it came on for me?
Kind of like how G-Bo said, man, I want to emphasize that anything that I say about my prison experience, my gang lifestyle, by no means am I glamorizing it. I don't want any youngster to follow in any negative footstep that I ever walked, you know what I mean? If I can tell you something that'll make you make a difference or make a different decision in your life so you don't have to go through what I went through, man, that's what I'm here for. I didn't get to the status in my gang or in my clique, you know what I mean, without I paid my dues, you know what I mean? And a lot of people, you know what I mean, the big homies come home from prison and tell you, you know what I mean, it makes it seem like it's a big old party in there. But what they won't tell you, you know what I mean, about them nights, you know what I'm saying, where you know that in the morning when the doors rack, it's a war getting ready to crack off. And you don't know if you're going to make it back home to your family, you know what I mean? Or, you miss your mom. Or they don't tell you, you know what I mean, they was up in their cell crying, you know what I'm saying, because they got 40, 50 plus years to life. You know what I mean? I got little homeboys in the pen right now, man, with 800, 900 plus life sentences. Double life without sentences. And they sitting up in there because they was following in my footsteps, you know what I mean? And that hurts me now. So, part of like the last couple of times I was in prison, man, I was already engaged in a process of change. This process of change began 20 plus years ago, maybe like in 1990. I got introduced to a program called Amity in Donovan. And they started planting some seeds of change in my mind. But I was still young, and I was still caught up in the system that kind of like refused to let me go. So it was something, man, that it took me a long time to get to the point where I am today. And even though, man, I got a good job, I've been out of prison for years, I ain't on nobody's paperwork. Um, Police did pull me over the other day. They gonna ask me, am I still with Skyline? I mean, come on, man. I'm gonna always be from Skyline because that's where I'm from. But I haven't been an active gang member, man. Like, Crip walk up to me, what's up, cuz? Hey, dude, you know what I'm saying? I ain't your cuz,
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not like it used to be. I'm not an active gang member no more. But that light started coming on for me, man, when a lot of regrets started popping up in my life, man. I left. I was given a 28-year sentence, man, when my daughters was 9 and 11 years old. And even though I got my sentence modified, I didn't get out of prison until my daughters was 20 and 19 and 21 years old. You know, all the things that a father's supposed to be there to protect his daughters, buy them their first cars, teach them about, you know what I mean, how these boys is going to try to manipulate them. All the things that I should have been for my children, man, I wasn't able to be there. I got 2 grown sons, you know what I mean, that you couldn't tell them nothing bad about me. But just sometimes when they needed me to be there, or they came to visit me, the look that I would see on their face when they had to leave, man. Like I said, man, it just was a lot of regrets, you know what I mean? Like I said, every time you commit a crime and go to prison, man, there's no guarantee that even if you just got a 6-month sentence, man, you might get caught up in a situation in prison where you got to kill somebody just to keep from being killed. And then you ain't never coming home, man. So as I got older, and then I started seeing that I was fed some lies when I was young, man. You know what I mean? And I can't really blame like my bigger homies, my older homies, you know what I mean? Because I went for it hook, line, and sinker. You know, a lot of times, man, I grew up with the mentality that I hated Crips, you know, because they wore blue. I didn't really know why I hated Crips. I just knew they was Crips and I hated them. But I was always told these dudes is busters, these dudes is punks. Yeah, but I found out the hard way, some of them dudes wasn't busters and some of them wasn't no punks, you know what I mean? A lot of them was just like me. They just grew up on a different side of town that I did. So a lot of this, the way I started evolving, man, and making changes in my life, it just was my life experiences, man, you know what I mean? And one thing that we was talking about earlier about that youth authority and all that, I was state raised, you know what I mean, from a young age, man. I started getting involved in juvenile hall and YA and all that kind of stuff. And one thing, like years later, I've been going to programs and went to college, you know what I mean, and studied to be a drug and alcohol counselor and a lot of things where I was educating myself. What I really learned was during my formative years when I should have been learning how to express my emotions like the proper way. Like if somebody stepped on my shoe, that ain't really disrespect. That's an accident. You know what I mean? There's a proper response for that other than violence.
Right.
Or if I get my feelings hurt, you know what I mean? There's a proper response. But because I was caught up in a lifestyle of violence and that's what prison was teaching me, that was my only out course, you know what I'm saying? So I became really, really violent. And once you live that lifestyle, man, it's kind of hard to get out of it. But, you know, me and G-Ball, like you said, we was in the same prison together, you know what I mean? And like I said, I don't really even like thinking about a lot of stuff that we had to go through in there, man, because I know that I'll never go back to it. And, you know, like I said, I don't want to make it seem like I'm glorifying prison because it's a dangerous situation, man. Sometimes we laugh. Yeah, like we got a friend that, you know what I mean, he beat guys up and broke their backs and collarbones and all that kind of stuff, and we sit around and laugh about it.
Yeah.
I mean, how funny is that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just shows how twisted, how prison lifestyles and gang lifestyles can have you, man. But I just thank God, you know what I'm saying? Like, and again, I thank Greg, man, you know what I mean, for the example that he set for me. Like he said, I might have started a little bit earlier, but Greg has always been somebody, not just from my gang, but from my community that I could look up to. When I was a youngster, like Greg said, he was an athlete, him and his brothers, you know what I'm saying? He didn't think it, but these were my big homies. They might not have been banging before me, but these was guys that I could look up to. And then I seen Greg get out of prison and start off just going to pick guys up from prison, man. And I watched him. I followed him for a while. His career is what he's doing. And, man, it's an honor, you know what I mean, for him to be allowing me the opportunity to speak to you guys, man. But he's actually doing a lot of good things for his community, man, and giving back. So I thank you, Greg. You know what I mean? I appreciate it, bro.
And that's what we're here to do, man, because you know, uh, because we've been through it, a lot of times the youngsters will listen to us because we're ex-gang members. We walked that walk. We walked through them alleys and them dark places and been shot at, been shot, been stabbed. Again, not to glorify, but because we've been through that and we turned our lives around and we're doing what's right now, we're doing good things. They're gonna look up to that.
Yeah.
They don't have to look up to the other part that we done. Look up to how we turned our lives around. They don't have to walk that walk. And then one thing real quick, for the youngsters, especially the little homies and some of the ones that are adults too. Man, look, man, we gonna always be from Skyline, but we just don't bang no more. You can rep your set without shooting at another brother, man. Let me tell you that, man. I got respect for people from the Coast neighborhood everywhere, and same thing. They got respect for me because I'm not with that no more, and they don't have to be with that no more. And when I can be out of town from Virginia. I was in Virginia a couple weeks ago, working out with my son at the gym. And my son said, "Hey man, this guy that work here. He's from Dago. Okay, what's up, man? He's from Paradise Hill." I said, "Oh yeah, I'm your neighbor, man, from Skyline. I'm not a gang member no more though. I'm still from Skyline. You know what I mean? I don't want problem. I want to live. It's time to enjoy life instead of destroying life. Because that's what we did. We're destroying lives and destroying our own life. We're just here's what it is, man. In a nutshell, we got family members that love us and care about us. The same people we're shooting at got family members that love and care about them. Why are we doing this? Like you said, because we don't like blow. We're manipulated into to believing the lie. We don't have to do that no more. For the youngsters, you guys don't have to do that no more. We don't do it. I refuse to do it anymore. I'm from Skyline, but I don't bang. So
if you don't mind, I need to say one thing before we go.
Absolutely.
And I want to say this, you know what I mean? Because I've been trying to keep it calm and all that. But I want to ruffle some of these youngsters' feathers, man. Because I know there's some youngsters out there that, you tough and all that, man. Can't nobody tell you nothing. Your mama can't tell you nothing, you know what I mean? The big homie can't tell you nothing. You know it all. But I'm going to tell you for real, man. You hit that yard on me, you know what I'm saying? You get up in them pins, you're going to listen to somebody.
Yep.
I don't care how tough you is, man. Ain't nobody bigger than the car. Ain't nobody bigger than, that sentence, man. You know what I mean? So like I said, man, we've been there. We've done that. You're going to hear Greg is going to continue to interview people like us, man. And why would you have to follow in them footsteps when you can learn from sitting on your couch, on your iPhone or whatever, man? You get an iPhone up in there, you're going to pay a lot of money for it, and they might come take it from you. And it might not be the police come take it from you, Tuffy. You know what I mean? One of your own homeboys or somebody else might come take it, man. I'm saying this, like I said, I do want to ruffle some feathers, man, but I just want to really call somebody to think about the decisions that they make. I've been in this process of change for a long time, man. I still make bad decisions. And it's only by the grace of God that I'm, he covers me with his grace, you know what I mean? And I'm not going to start preaching to y'all, but I just really want to instill in you guys, man, make a conscious decision to try to do what's right for you and your family, and don't end up going through some of the stuff that we went through.
That's what it is, man. Thank you, man. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's Jettie Garrett, aka Baby Jet, sharing some real insight from a true OG from one to another, man. We don't have to live that lifestyle no more. We refuse to live that lifestyle again. And we continue to push positive vibes to those that were willing to listen. So follow us again on No Warning Shot series. Thank you.